In a recent video, I reviewed MyForexPath Path EA, but I didn't stop there. I've spent many more hours analyzing it, and what surprised me is that it's also suitable for funded accounts. And I will show you why I prefer to run it on two separate accounts rather than placing them into one account. So stay tuned until the end. But before I start, I'd like to take a moment to thank our loyal subscribers. If you're watching this but not sure if you've subscribed yet, please scroll down and check. It takes one click and it's free. Subscribing helps us keep testing EAs on live and funded accounts, and it also ensures you don't miss updates on these accounts as they develop. Thanks for being here and supporting the channel. Let's dive in. Let's take a quick look at the vendor site, and what you can see is that it costs $285. However, I will leave a coupon code for you if you want to buy it with a 10% discount. So it's the Aussie US dollar, the euro dollar, and the dollar CAD. And you can see that their growth in the account is about 710%. That is just over a year. So very good results. However, you can also see that their biggest recorded drawdown was 52%. So I'm not sure exactly what the settings are that they're using. They might have AutoRIsk enabled just with a bigger amount, or they may have disabled it and are trading with fixed lots and bigger lots. So overall very good. And if we look at their results so far this year, you can see that the first 4 months of the year were exceptionally profitable, obviously trading very high risk, and then the remaining months in the year have all been profitable but with lower, so I imagine that they lowered the risk cap. What you can also see on the vendor's website, if you go a little bit lower, is all of their various backtesting results. This goes back to 2016, and there are results for both aggressive and normal on each of the currency pairs. So again, if you are interested in that, I'll leave the link down below in the description and you can go and have a look at that and check it out in more detail. So first of all, what we're going to do is let's open the tester, and we'll do that by going to Expert Advisors, Strategy Tester. This is running on MT4, by the way. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the expert properties, and what we're going to see is that AutoRIsk is set to false. We are going to set that to true. Okay, risk limit we're going to set to 10, and start loss doesn't matter because we've got the AutoRIsk enabled, and I'll get into more details about that a little later in the video. And we're going to click on OK. You'll see that we've got the USD CAD loaded, and we're going to run every tick for the last 2 years basically. So we'll hit start and let's have a look at the graph together. And the backtest has completed. Let's take a quick look at the report. And what we can see is that we have a total net profit of almost $1,500, so about 15%. And we have a relative drawdown of 8.5%. And in monetary terms, it's a little over that. So it's 880. So it's about 8.8%. So that looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run another backtest, and we're going to change one of the settings. So let's go to the settings. We're going to go to the expert properties. And what I'm going to do here in the inputs is I'm going to set the AutoRIsk to false, and I'm going to have the start lots set to 0.02. Risk limit doesn't matter because the AutoRIsk is disabled, so this doesn't make any difference at this stage. So what we're going to do is we're going to run it again, and then we're going to compare the results between AutoRIsk and trading with fixed lots. So let's click on OK there, start another backtest. So the next backtest has now finished, and let's take a look at the report. And what we can see is that we have a very similar total net profit and a very similar drawdown. But because we are going to be trading this in a funded account where we have a static drawdown limit of 10%, I would be more comfortable trading it with the AutoRIsk enabled. So as you can see that it is already on the chart. Let's close the tester quickly. Okay, so if we go to the EA properties, what you'll see is that it's exactly as we have backtested it. So we've got AutoRIsk set to true. Our risk limit is set to 10, so it will trade within that 10% drawdown limit. So in other words, what will happen is if it ever gets to a point where it reaches or it gets close to 10% of a drawdown, it will close all trades. But let me show you the manual from the developer, because as you saw, there aren't a lot of settings. So here is the manual from the developer. And what we can see is that if we go down to the settings, so AutoRIsk, the money management of MyForexPath, if true, the EA will set lot sizes automatically based on your deposit and the risk you set. If false, the EA will use lot sizes, which you can set manually in the starting lot, as you saw in the backtest. So in other words, what will happen is that as your account grows, the lot sizes with AutoRIsk on, the lot sizes might increase, the starting lot might increase. Whereas with the fixed lots, if you set it to 0.01 or 0.02, as we did on the backtest, what will happen is that even as the account grows, the starting lot sizes will not grow with the account. In my opinion, in this case, it is better to leave the AutoRIsk on. Then risk limit, a part of your deposit in percentage terms, which the EA will use for trading. It doesn't work if AutoRIsk is set to false. So in other words, AutoRIsk has to be enabled for it to utilize that percentage of your account to trade with. So because that is the percentage of the account that it's trading with, that is essentially the percentage that you are risking in the account, which again, in the case of a funded account, is perfect. Now, what it also says is that by default, if you are only trading one asset in the account, you would set this to 35. If you are trading more than one asset in the account, you would set this to 25. So why is the risk percentage or the risk limit so important? As I mentioned, we are going to be trading this on a funded account and it's going to be on trading.com. So I'm sure most of you know about trading.com by now, but I'm going to run through it very quickly so you can see. So essentially what happens is you have three options when you start. You can put in 1,000, 2,500 or 5,000, and then the broker trading.com will add the remaining, so it'll always be 10 times your initial deposit. But so you can see that on stage one we deposit $1,000, incubator amounts are 9,000, so we have a total trading amount of 10,000. You have a static drawdown limit of $1,000. Now what's nice about this is that it's static, so as your account grows this doesn't change. So in other words, you have to always keep your account above $9,000. So even if your account gets to 14,000 or 15,000 and you have a bigger drawdown where let's say $2,000 of a drawdown, as long as you don't hit that 9,000, you're still safe. So that is very useful. Now, once you get to 20%, you can withdraw 80% of the profits. So you get $1,600 as a withdrawal, and then you can move on to stage two. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the VPS and I'm going to show you the other currency pair that we're going to be trading, and then I'll explain why we have it on two separate accounts. I'll also show you how to put it onto the chart. So let's go to this one here. This is a brand new account. We haven't got anything on here. You'll see that the EA isn't in here yet. So let me show you how you attach the EA and what you need to do. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go to open data folder. All right, from there, we're going to navigate to where I have the EA copied. Okay, here it is here. We go to MT4. Now in the MQL4 folder, you'll see there are two subfolders. So the first is the expert. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy that. And we're going to go to file, open data folder, go to MQL4, experts. I'm going to paste that in there. Okay, so that's in there. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to go back to the folder where the EA is. Okay, and then we need to copy this DLL that is in library. So we're going to copy that. We're going to go back to the folder with our expert. We're going to go back to the MQL4. We're going to go to library. So it's in the same folders and we're going to paste that in there. Okay, so that's it. Close that, close that. Okay, refresh in our navigator. Now you'll see that MyForexPath is here. Now this is where we're going to use it on a different currency, and this one is going to be euro dollar. Before we do that though, let me go back to the first platform because I want to run the backtest here. I've already got all the historical data loaded, so it will be a little bit easier to do. So all we're going to do is we're going to keep the settings the same. So if you remember that we had it on AutoRIsk set to true. Okay, we are going to set our risk limit at 10. Click on OK, and then we're going to select the euro dollar as the currency to backtest with. So here it is here, the euro dollar, and we're going to click on start. Let's have a look at the graph. Okay, so the backtest has completed, and as you can see, we have a very, very smooth balance line and a very smooth equity line. Just a small drawdown here, nothing to be too concerned about. Let's go to the report, and what we can see is that we have a total net profit of over $3,500, so that's 35%, which is really, really good. And again, you'll see that our drawdown is a little over 8%. So again, absolutely perfect results, couldn't be happier. Now, because both of these that we could be trading, the dollar CAD and the euro dollar, both of them are quite heavily reliant on the dollar. So trading them both in the same account, you are risking it, because if there is a big move on the dollar, you could potentially hit that drawdown, both of those drawdowns at the same time, or at least at very similar times, and the chances of losing the account are much higher. So let's go back to the other platform. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open a euro dollar chart. Let's just find it here. Right, here it is here, euro dollar. So we're going to go to chart window. We're going to make sure that auto trading is enabled. This needs to be on H1, which it is. Absolutely perfect. Okay, what we're going to do is we are going to attach the EA to the chart. We're going to go to the inputs. AutoRIsk is set to true. Risk limit, we are going to set to 10, and that is about it. Drawdown control is true, so that's also something we didn't mention in the settings. So that's exactly what it does. It helps you to control your drawdowns, so it will stop trading before it reaches that point. Okay, slippage 20, you can look at what your broker's historical data is and see more or less what the slippage is. 20 is a pretty good number to work with. I'm going to click on OK, and that is it. The EA is now attached to the chart and it is trading. But something interesting that happens when you place this EA onto the chart for the first time, it will always open 3 trades, and you can see that we have, based on the percent that we set, let's open up a trade with 0.02, 0.03 and 0.05. Now, this is not a grid martingale system. There is some kind of a grid in play. It's very difficult to know because most of the settings, as you saw, are hidden, so you don't have much control over it. So it's quite difficult to understand exactly what the strategy behind it is, but based on the results, it certainly doesn't seem like it has any kind of aggressive grid or recovery system in play. It seems like we found yet another robust EA that is suitable for live and funded accounts by adjusting a few settings. You'll find links to the robot, including the coupon code, the track record for this and the rest of our accounts, and trading.com below in the description. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If you missed a video where I placed this EA onto a live $1,000 account, check it out here. Thanks for watching, trade safe, and I'll see you soon.